At the film's beginning, we see a happy couple, Jillian Armacost and Spencer Armacost, spending time together and promising her to call from space. In the next scene, Jillian Armacost observes a shuttle taking off outside her window. She works as a junior high school teacher in the 2nd grade. All of a sudden, one of her students tells her that she has a call coming in. Sorry for the small pause. It took a lot of hard work to find the movies, make the script, and edit them. Little request, please show your support. It turns out that Jillian is answering the call from the NASA Communications Center. Following that, the phone is linked to her husband. Spencer Armacost is a NASA astronaut. Jillian seems to be happy when she takes the call, because her husband should be orbiting the Earth at this very moment. Later at home, she cheerfully converses with her sister Nan. She believes Jillian is extremely fortunate to have a husband like Spencer, and they discuss this. Abruptly, breaking news about the recent accident at one of NASA's space stations airs on the TV. Her spouse and another NASA captain, Alex Strack, were also involved in the incident. Simultaneously, the doorbell rings, and as Jillian answers, a man named Sherman Reese approaches her and claims to be from NASA. In the following scene, Sherman asks Jillian to accompany him before giving her a detailed explanation. After being brought to the NASA headquarters, Jillian meets the heartbroken wife, Natalie, of Alex Strack. Natalie embraces one another in the belief that their husbands have passed away. But the NASA director shows up and tells them the good news. Their husbands are alive and safe. It then becomes clear that Spencer and Alex were fixing a satellite in space when there was an explosion, which caused the NASA Communications Center to lose contact with them for 2 minutes. The director then tells the wives that their husbands have boarded a shuttle and are now returning to Earth. Sherman turns on a broadcast camera, enabling the women to see their husbands from Earth. A few hours later, Alex and Spencer land safely, but are taken to the hospital because of explosion-related injuries. Jillian is reassured by the doctor that her husband will be fine, but as the days go by, Alex must remain in the intensive care unit due to his serious injuries. As her husband heals, Jillian spends her time sitting next to his bed. Spencer eventually nods off, easing Jillian's anxiety, but Alex's health just keeps getting worse. At one point, he experiences a medical emergency that calls for electrical cardioversion. Alex becomes violently sick, and the doctors have to perform CPR on him. Though Natalie is helpless to assist her husband, she watches him with tears from the outside. Finally, the doctors were able to save Alex and start him on medicine. The astronauts receive recognition for their valiant actions from government. At a celebratory gathering, Natalie shares with Jillian about her worries. Her husband hasn't said anything about the accident since he recovered, but it turns out that Spencer and Alex have also been pretty quiet. However, the two women come to the conclusion that their husbands just need some time to get over the nightmare. Following the celebration, Spencer informs his wife that he has made the decision to leave the military and has taken a job offer from. The following scene, the couples attend an event. They are enjoying, and suddenly she observes Alex acting aggressively against his wife and having an argument. Alex collapses to the ground, his mouth suddenly gushing blood. It's too late when Spencer rushes to see that his colleague has already died. Shortly after a press conference in South Carolina, where NASA representatives claimed that Alex had suffered a stroke, Alex is declared dead on the scene, shocking everyone in the vicinity. In private, Jillian comes up to Natalie to console her. Natalie reveals that she feels as though someone is living inside of her, and that her husband has been communicating with someone who is not a part of our world lately. Jillian consoles her, believing that Alex's death was a result of the trauma. Then she goes to join Spencer, leaving Natalie by herself in the space. After a short while, they hear a scream out of nowhere. When they all head to Natalie's room, find her in the bathtub. It turns out that she ended herself because she was no longer able to handle the grief of her husband's passing. Sometime after she and Spencer moved to New York, Jillian discovers her husband is acting strangely at a work function. Although he was never outgoing, he is now part of numerous exclusive circles. She asks him about the spacewalk and what happened while the 2 minutes connection lost with NASA. When he starts answering, Jillian realizes that she is in bed with him and that everything seems to be a dream. With the only sound she can hear Spencer's voice. In the following scene, Jillian feels a sudden, sharp pain in her stomach and hears strange noises inside her head, something she has never experienced before. Jillian, still in shock from what happened the other night, calls her sister Nan to let her know that she can't live in a place as big as New York and that things have been acting strangely lately. When Jillian learns she is expecting twins, she doesn't seem happy for some reason. One evening, Spencer takes Gillian to dinner at his boss. Mr. McLaren is a very materialistic and sophisticated individual, which Gillian finds objectionable. Later, he and his wife leave to put their daughter to sleep. Spencer asks about Gillian's recent activities. Gillian informs him that neither she nor he are a part of his recently found elite circles. She reminds him that after the space accident, Spencer has changed, even though he previously promised her he would never give up on his dream of becoming an astronaut. Then, Gillian confesses that she is pregnant in a nervous tone, which makes Spencer happy. The couple visits the doctor the next day to have the pregnancy checked. When she and the doctor are alone, Gillian says that she sought psychiatric help earlier in life after her parents passed away because she began to see herself and all of her loved ones as dead. She also reports to the doctor that she has been experiencing nightmares lately, which she worries could interfere with her pregnancy. After hearing everything, the doctor tells Gillian to call her in case of an emergency. Gillian makes the decision to join a support group for expectant mothers of twins. This turns out to be a great idea, as she finally gets the motivation and help she was looking for. A few months later, Gillian appears to be very comfortable with her pregnancy. She and her husband are now happily looking forward to the birth of their babies one day. When Gillian visits the baby store, she is suddenly approached by Sherman Reese, who looks worried. He says that he wants to talk about the 2 minutes. When her husband didn't have a connection with the NASA Communication Center, he also asks Gillian if she has noticed Spencer acting differently ever since the accident. It is revealed that Sherman has been suspended from NASA because after his investigation, he had insisted to the authorities that something was wrong with Spencer, though all the tests came back normal. He shows Gillian some official papers and proves that Spencer's signature is different ever since his return from space. Additionally, his medical indicators have also changed. However, Gillian thinks Sherman is crazy, and her guess is further confirmed when she learns that he was fired by NASA. She asks him not to pursue her, but Sherman is persistent. When he reveals that Natalie was pregnant at the time of her death, Gillian is shocked. Sherman is fully convinced that something more than just an explosion happened while the 2 astronauts were orbiting Earth. After that, he gives Gillian a tape recorder that captures the whole audio exchange between the astronauts during their space mission. After listening to the tape, Gillian discovers, shockingly, that Alex and Spencer saw something during those 2 minutes, something they had never seen or heard of before. Suddenly, there is a knock at the door, and Gillian answers nervously. To her relief, it's her sister Nan who traveled all the way to New York to surprise her sister. While they were having a conversation, Gillian discloses everything of her recent experiences and discusses her research on Spencer, warning her sister not to share the information. One evening, Gillian receives a call from Sherman and discovers, to her surprise, that Natalie is also expecting twins. When she urgently asks Sherman what the autopsy revealed about the twins, he tells her that he must see her in person. The next morning, the two meet by the subway, and as they are about to talk about Natalie's autopsy, Spencer appears. When the talk goes on for too long, Gillian quickly hides the place, and the two men begin talking about their time spent in NASA. Spencer offers him coffee. It's clear his intention is not good. Sherman understands his plan and leaves the profs that he collected. She tries to reach it, but Spencer takes it before her. She attempts to get in touch with Sherman by phoning the hotel where he is currently staying, but she is unsuccessful. Fortunately, as a backup plan, Sherman has sent Gillian a key to a vault. She also receives a note that directs her to a certain place. Gillian finds pictures of her husband in the vault and finds out that Sherman has been watching him ever since he returned from the space mission. She also discovers a VHS video cassette, but the light abruptly goes out when she tries to play it. Fearing for her life, Gillian flees the vault. She knows for sure now that something bad is out to get her. She watches the video of Sherman's demonstration of what actually occurred in space later on at home. He clarifies that when Spencer and Alex lost contact with NASA, there was an enigmatic signal nearby. Sherman thinks the signal came from an alien wanting to reach Earth, so it took control of the astronaut's body. But Alex died because his vitals couldn't support the alien's mass. After watching the video, Gillian connects it to her husband's recent unpredictable behavior and how she's been having nightmares about dying. She also notices the signal, which sounds exactly like the one she heard at the work party in New York when she was semi-conscious. After realizing that her husband is not who he claims to be, he is an alien, and that there is a high chance that her unborn twins are also aliens, Gillian tries a medical abortion. However, she is quickly caught by Spencer, and he slaps her, telling her not to do anything in the future. In response, Jillian throws herself down a flight of stairs and ends up in the hospital. Spencer tells her that the twins are still alive through the fall, but he threatened her not to talk about what happened while she's healing. In a dream, Jillian witnesses Spencer killing her sister Nan. She walks out of the hospital alone, frustrated, but Spencer follows her because of his strange bond with the alien twins inside her. She rushes home, locks the door, and enters the chamber where she had dreamed her sister had been murdered. When Spencer breaks into the apartment, Jillian finds her sister's body on the floor, but it quickly vanishes, most likely because it was only an illusion. She has flooded the kitchen floor with water, hidden a radio in the sink, and an extension cord plugged into the wall. Holding the cords in each hand, Jillian warns Spencer to stay away from her. Later, she discovers bloody nail marks on Spencer's hand and realizes that her sister is actually dead, just as she had dreamed during the final confrontation. When Jillian tells Spencer that she knows who he is and that he killed her sister, the alien inside Spencer's body eventually comes out of his body and says that he killed her sister because she was in his way. He now lives inside Jillian through his link with the twins. Just then, water starts pouring down from the ceiling, and just in time, Jillian lifts her feet off the wet floor and connects the cord, sending a deadly wave of current towards Spencer that kills him once and for all. However, the alien comes out of Spencer's body and transmits into Jillian. Several years after the incident, we find that Jillian has remarried and that her twin sons are living normal lives. Her current husband also happens to be an astronaut, just like Spencer used to be. As the film closes, Jillian is seen beamingly watching her son board the school bus. Seems she has hopes from her twin aliens, as they are growing up like normal human beings. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.